Hi everybody, welcome to the Steckline Report. Well, it's been quite a fiasco in Washington, hasn't it? Oh, that super committee is super do nothing now. Couldn't come up with an answer, friends, for the economic situation that we face in the United States. I'm not going to get into that ball game because so many of the media do, but I will get into the ball game that kind of involved that particular committee, and that was the House and the Senate Ag Committee's chairmen who put together a farm bill proposal for that committee, and they did it without much help from anybody else, which has a lot of people upset, and I'll namely name one, Senator Pat Roberts from Kansas. In fact, I could quote him by saying that now a farm bill might be written in regular order as it should be. He says, and I quote, "In recent weeks, the chairs of the House and Senate Ag Committee have worked on this farm bill largely without his input and the input of other members of the committee. The last proposal was so secret," Pat Roberts says, "that I still have not seen final legislative language and scores. Significant strides were proposed in crop insurance and conservation programs. However," he says, "I had substantial concerns about what little I knew of the direction of the commodity title and the inequitable distribution of spending reductions between commodities, conservation, nutrition, especially crops, and so on." So he's not a happy camper. And so will the ideas that these two folks came up with for that super committee be any kind of a guideline for the talks that will take place after the first of the year on the 2012 Farm Bill? Well, I think they will, whether Pat Roberts likes it or not. But Pat Roberts and others may have some things to change about these ideas, and I want to cover a few of them with you so you know what they're all about. First of all, they would have eliminated, as we suspected for quite some time, direct payments 100%. Ending these subsidies and reforming other commodity programs, according to Stabenow, the Senate Ag Committee chairwoman, would save $15 billion. Streamlining and consolidation, which would cut the number of conservation programs from 23 to 13. And chop the overall number of Ag Department programs by 31%, wouldn't be a bad idea in my opinion. From 225 to 156 sounds a lot more workable to me. So that part I kind of like. But guess what the program will consist of primarily? There would be an Ag Risk Coverage Program based on an 87% of a 5-year average revenue, with the high and the low income years thrown out. And then if you'd have a catastrophe such as floods and drought and those kinds of things, you'd be paid, a farmer would be paid if he had an adjusted gross income of $950,000 or less. That's adjusted gross income. And the payments would be capped at $105,000. Now, to replace basically the direct payment issue, they've come up with higher target prices for the counter-cyclical program. The multiple sources confirmed that we talked to around the country, corn would go to a target price of $3.64 a bushel, up $1.01 from the current. Soybeans would have a target price of $8.31 a bushel. That's up from the current $6. Rice would go from $13.90 or 10.5 to $13.98. Wheat would go from $4.17 currently to $5.50. The marketing loan program would remain the same. And the big move that scares me would steadily lower the cap on CRP from 32 million acres currently to 25. I don't like to see all those acres go back into production. That's a sure sign of depressing commodity prices, folks. That's what they're trying to do. They're too high right now, and there will be some people that will work on that, and I hope somebody will do something about that when they talk about the 2012 Farm Bill next year. Thanks for being with us. We'll have more on that issue later on the Steckline Report.